I've seen so many people tell me, oh, you'll only lose weight if you go keto, or you have to cut out dairy, or you have to cut out carbs, or you have to cut out sugar altogether. And I eat dairy every day. I eat carbs every day. I eat gluten every day. Every day this week, I've had a sandwich for lunch.
Everything diets tell you can't eat.
Right. This is super important for people to understand, is that the internet makes you feel like because you have something like PCOS or hypothyroidism that you're absolutely fucked and you can't lose weight and you must do something fucking extreme, which is absolute trash advice. And this literally makes people feel like they're fucking helpless. And here you are that actually has PCOS. You are doing the thing and getting the results because you are being fucking consistent. Welcome to Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt, the world's #1 no bullshit health and fitness podcast.
Are you ready to cut the crap with your diet and exercise, get strong as fuck, and build a healthy relationship with food? Then you've come to the right place.
Let's go. If you'd like to support us in the podcast, join our Patreon where you get exclusive content, which consists of monthly workouts you can do at home or at the gym, monthly challenges that are either strength, habit, or mindset based, and access to over 100 plus low-calorie, high-protein, family-friendly meals. These are all designed by a professional chef who is certified in nutrition. These recipes are already in MyFitnessPal for easy fucking tracking. New recipes are also added each week.
We believe that fitness is for everyone, so this is our way of getting you started on your health and fitness journey at a price most everyone can afford. So what the fuck are you waiting for? We'll see you in the Patreon.
Hello.
Erica.
Hi, Erica.
Hi.
We are so fucking excited to chat with you today, Erica.
Oh man, I tried to sleep in because I took the day off because right now it's in the middle of my work day. But my body was like, nope, we're doing this today. And it decided to wake me up at 5 a.m.
A little bit of anticipation there, excitedness.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we're equally as excited. This is something we've been looking forward to a while, especially with you. I know earlier this year on the podcast, right, we were talking about how we want to just start getting more real people on the podcast. And Erica, we are incredibly honored that you're our first guest listener on the podcast, and just ready to dive into that.
And it's exciting. When you guys invited me on, it was January and I was down, 72 pounds, 72. And now I'm down 88.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
I was just about to hit 90. So my lowest adult weight is 220. That's what I graduated high school at 17. And I was at 220.2 this weekend, but then Mother Nature decided that I'm a woman and I shouldn't get too excited about being down 90 because boom, Mother Nature came and
Gotcha.
Say no more.
So this is an awesome opportunity to have you introduce yourself and tell us how, like, your story and how you found maybe me and Matt and how your journey started.
Yeah, so I'm Erica. I'm 34, from California, live in Colorado now. So I've always been a yo-yo dieter. I started out real young going with my mom to Weight Watchers meetings, Jenny Craig meetings, and I've just always been heavier. It got worse as I aged and I developed PCOS after puberty, and I went through a lot of traumatic things, and food was my comfort and my #1 self-harm method. My mom passed in October 2020, and I was going through the depression losing her because I was her full-time caregiver because she had a whole host of health issues, mostly stemming from her obesity. But losing her was a big, breaking point for me. And I had a former friend, at this point we were still friends, but she was trying to become a TikTok creator. And she was like, oh, I'm not going to make you buy anything. You don't have to send me money. Just download the app and watch my videos and like them and whatever. And I told her I was too old for TikTok.
I'm pretty sure me and Matt have said that.
Totally. We've heard that too.
Yes.
That's a kid's app. What are you doing?
I was like, whatever, I'll do it for you. And so I downloaded it for her, and then my mom died, and we stopped being friends because she basically told me that I should be over it. Like 2 days after my mom died, she didn't know why I was still upset and crying.
So she wasn't supportive of you whatsoever.
Right. And so I just stopped talking to her. But I was still on TikTok because by that point I was just addicted to the scrolling, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was on my For You page, and one of Beth's videos popped up. It was just eat the fucking fruit. Like, okay, yes, instant follow, instant heart. Like, yes, I can get behind this because I've been through so many shitty diets. And the main one that ruined my relationship with food was Trim Healthy Mama, which I've talked to Matt about.
Mm.
And their big thing was you couldn't have a lot of fruit. Like, I could only have a half a banana because a whole banana was too much sugar. And it wasn't the calories that made you fat. It was the sugar that made you fat.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know better, it's like, yeah, no one got fat from eating a whole banana instead of a half a banana.
Right.
But then I followed you on Instagram because even then I was more on Instagram than I am on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you posting about the podcast. You had already started the podcast when I found you. And so I started listening. And for the first few months after my mom died, I didn't take care of myself. I didn't clean my house. I didn't do anything, but I would work and I would go to sleep and I would shovel food in my mouth and then I would repeat the process. And so I was like, okay, I need to get my shit back together. And when I started listening, I was thinking of going back to Trim Healthy Mama because as shitty as it was and as bad as it made my relationship with food, I lost 60 pounds in 5 months. So it worked for me. But then I started listening to the podcast. And at that time, I wasn't doing anything. I was just listening. I was listening while I was cleaning my house. And I don't know what episode it was, but you were like, if it didn't work in the past, what's going to make it work now? And I'm like, oh, shit. That's what I need to hear. And so I was like, okay, I need to figure out what's going to work for me because Trim Healthy Mama, if it worked, I wouldn't have stopped. Because yes, I lost the weight very fast and it was super awesome. But as soon as you go off track, the weight's just going to come back on because it's just a bad diet.
Right.
Like I didn't change my habits. I didn't change my mental self.
Right.
So it wasn't sustainable. And then I listened to the podcast and I started implementing baby steps. And here I am.
Here you are.
Over
baby
a year
steps.
later, down almost 90 pounds.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Can we everyone give Erica a fucking hell yeah right now?
Hell yeah.
Fucking hell yes. I mean, seriously, that is absolutely fucking incredible. And I'm like in awe of you, honestly. That's fucking amazing.
I agree. And so you've been working at this for about a little over a year now. Was there like...
I wasn't implementing the steps, but January of last year is when I started listening.
Okay.
Around May, June is when I started like actually taking the steps.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the first thing I did was you guys were like, just do a 5-minute walk. Just do a 5-minute walk. And I was like, okay, I can do a 5-minute walk. And as it turns out, that was hell for me because I was so overweight. I was so out of shape that by the time I was done with the 5-minute walk, I was out of breath. My chest was heaving. My back was on fire. My feet were on fire.
But you didn't quit.
I was at a point where I could lay in bed at night and my heart would just be racing from nothing. And so even that 5-minute walk was instrumental. And I did that for, I don't even know, I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks. And then I wasn't even paying attention to my step count. I was just timing it for 5 minutes. And then I did 10 minutes. And then I did 15 minutes. And then I started wearing my Apple Watch. And then I started getting 4,000 steps a day. And then I did that for like 2 or 3 weeks. Then I went up to 7,500 steps a day. Then I went up to 8,500 steps a day. And then I went up to 10,000 steps a day. And now a lot of the times I get like 12 to 15,000. Some days I'll get like 25,000 just because I enjoy walking.
You're a madman.
And now, like, did you just say you enjoy walking?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
And that's all I did.
You went from not being able to walk for 5 minutes without feeling like hell to smashing 12,000 steps a day. And over a course of a year, slowly, gradually, doing the things we talk about.
Yeah.
You weren't able to do 10-minute walks like we talk about. So what do we say? You do something that, just do fucking something. And that's what you did.
Exactly. And then, as I got better with walking, then I was like, okay, I'm done with walking. What can I do next?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got walking down. What's next?
You were mastering the habits one at a time. All right.
And so then the next thing I worked on was sleep, because I was like, what's going to make the biggest impact for me? And for me, it was sleep, because I would have insomnia, or it would take me like 2 or 3 hours to fall asleep. And then I'd get shitty sleep. And then I knew I needed to work on the sleep before I started adding in exercise, because that was only going to exhaust me more. And so I started waking up at the same time every day. And then I did that for like a month. And then I went to bed at the same time every day. And I slowly started a wind down routine to where now I'm getting 8.5 to 9 hours of sleep every night.
That's incredible.
Wow.
And you were just doing a few hours before that?
Yep. I was getting maybe 4. 4 hours was a good day of sleep for me.
When you went to and you improved your sleep quality, the amount of sleep that you were getting, what kind of changes did you experience in your life there?
Oh man, everything. I had more energy. I was happier. I was nicer. I wasn't a total fucking bitch to everyone.
just sometimes we allow ourselves that.
The only bad thing with that is I realized that my coffee habit was affecting my sleep because it was giving me anxiety attacks, which was making me stay up. So the only thing I've given up food or drink wise has been coffee, which has been hard
together.
Yep, all together.
Wow.
I'm kind of torn between wanting to try decaf, but I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the risk to me, because I sleep so good now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so good at everything else now. I don't know, like, do I miss it enough to try it and have it fuck something up? And then after I did the sleep, I would wake up and I didn't need a nap in the middle of the day. And I had more energy to go on further walks. I had more energy to start implementing lifting weights. I had more energy to track my food.
That was the third thing. Okay. Did you notice when you started working on improving your sleep hygiene, did you notice the relationship with food that you have and like maybe cravings? Did you notice any changes there?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I noticed that if I don't get enough sleep, I wasn't making the best choices in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I don't make the good choices in the morning, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to get the super highly processed foods that are high calorie, high sugar, high everything.
We're not craving nutritious foods when we don't get a good night's sleep.
I would go to the store, and one thing I did after a few months of tracking my food is I tracked how much I was eating when I would overeat. And I was eating on the weekends 20,000 calories. I mean, that's insane to think about, but at the time, it was just what I wanted. It was fast, it was simple, it was convenient. It was a lot of junk food, a lot of sugar, a lot of carbs. And sleeping better made me want to eat better because I had more energy. And even if I ate those highly processed foods, I would notice how sluggish I would get. And so then I started tracking my food. At first, I didn't change anything that I ate. I just started weighing it on the scale in grams and tracking it and lose it. And that was a big eye opener to me because I always thought, oh, I was good during the week. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I would be, oh, I've been good all week. I can blow the calories, forget weighing anything, forget eating good. I'm just going to eat what I want because I restricted all week. I was good all week. And I thought I was eating 12 to 1400 calories. And of course, I was not.
I just made a video on that.
Pounds. I was obviously not eating that amount of calories. But when I started weighing my food, I honestly changed that one pretty fast, because not changing my food and just weighing what I used to eat was a huge eye-opener, because I was eating things that people think are healthy. Like I was having salad, I was having a vegetable, a protein, and a carb at dinner. I wasn't eating breakfast just because I wasn't sleeping great still at like previously. And so I wanted more sleep instead of eating. And so I remember the first day I weighed out my salad and I was like, oh, this is nice. And I was new to it. So I was weighing everything. I was weighing my spinach. I was weighing my romaine. Like I just needed to get in the habit of weighing everything at that point.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, this is only like 100 calories. Is that it? And then I brought out my ranch dressing.
The ranch.
The good old ranch. I mean.
And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to weigh it. I'm just going to eyeball it to be what I normally use. And I did that. And it came up that was 800 calories worth of ranch.
Wow.
Whoa, girl.
And just the dressing. Yeah.
And I was like, well, holy shit, no wonder I'm so fucking fat.
Whoever's listening to this episode when it comes out is going to learn a lot.
Seriously.
Because this is the stuff that we tell people, but they were like, no, there's no way. But
we
have a real live person that is going through it that did it. And awareness is key. And it really all starts there. Most people are just not aware. Like you just weren't aware. And then you started making those changes and weighing and measuring the ranch. And now you're like, holy fuck, I was eating 800 fucking calories of ranch.
Right.
People just don't understand like things like that make a big fucking difference. If you just were to change the 800 calories of ranch a day, you would be in a deficit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And I was eating that sometimes twice a day, because if I didn't want a cooked vegetable with dinner, I would just, I'll have another salad. I like salad. But again, I was eating all that ranch dressing. So 2 servings of ranch, that's 1,600 calories right there.
Right. Question for you on that, Erica. Did you, before kind of starting to raise this awareness and start to log your food like that, did you have this conception in your head that the amount of food that you ate, like how much it weighed, impacted like your weight in terms of instead of the calories, right? Because if you're eating a salad and some dressing, that doesn't weigh a lot of food, right? So you might be thinking like, oh, this isn't a lot of food. I'm not even eating that much, right?
Like I saw that the label said, 2 tablespoons or whatever, but I thought, oh, this has to be 2 tablespoons, right? And obviously it was more like 22 tablespoons.
22, maybe not so much.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're human. I even do that as a fucking nutrition coach in my own calorie deficit. So it's like, imagine someone else. It's like, we're human. We do this. It's like, I'll have like, oh, let me weigh some almonds. And as I'm weighing the almonds, I'm fucking eating them. So, just like those videos you see, like they're weighing the chip and then they're eating the chip. It's like, that's what people fucking do. And it doesn't mean like you're a bad person. It's just, you're human.
Yeah. That was the other big one for me. It was nuts, because I love nuts, and man, do those suckers have a lot of calories.
It's not fair. It's kind of fucking rude.
It's not even, I can't buy them. I'm one of those like people that can't stop eating nuts. So it's one of my trigger foods that I don't keep in the house necessarily.
My grocery store sells like the 100 calorie bags of pistachios. And so I'll get those instead. That way I know it's 100 calories. I'm only going to get the one little bag. That way I can eat them. And when they're gone, there's no more.
Right.
That's an example of mindfulness right there. So you're implementing some mindfulness by using the pre-portioned servings, and you're like, I know this is all I need. And you're listening to your body and you're preparing yourself to be successful in that situation.
Yeah. The other food thing I've slowly overcome is when I first started, I was like, okay, anything that I'm going to feel overwhelmed with, that I'm going to want to binge on or overeat or just eat until it's gone, I got to keep out of my house. So for me, that was ice cream, peanut butter, and Nutella. Because Nutella, I would just eat by the spoonful until the jar was gone. Peanut butter, I would dump out into a bowl. I would sprinkle chocolate chips on it, and then I would add maple syrup on top of it. And not the sugar-free maple syrup, the regular maple syrup. I would mix it up and then I would just eat it with a spoon. Or like ice cream, I would go get a pint of Ben and Jerry's and I would get 2 pints and I would eat both pints in one sitting. Or the other thing I would do is like, you see on Instagram, all these people posting all the fancy recipes all the time. And so I would try to do that and it just didn't work for me. And so now I eat the same things every single day. I talked to my landlady once and she invited me out to breakfast and I go, oh no, I've got my oatmeal at home. I don't want to. And that was a big mind shift for me too, is I can have it if I want to, but now that I'm not restricting myself, I'm just choosing not to have it. In October, when you did that candy challenge, I did the candy challenge. And by like the 20th of October, I threw out the candy because I was sick of it.
Yeah. Then that's the whole point of the challenge too. I was the same way. By the week 2, I'm like, I'm fucking done. I don't even want any candy anymore.
And I can tell the people that have been around me since I was on my restrictive diets, because we'll go out once a month or so in the summer as like a ladies' day. We'll go shopping and then we'll go out to lunch and they're like, oh, Erica, what can you have here? I go, I can eat anything I want. Oh, really?
Yes. Not on a diet.
And at first they were like, okay, whatever. Because at that time I hadn't lost a bunch of weight just yet. And then now they see me once a month and they're like, holy shit, what are you doing? I go, I told you I'm not restricting. And now I'm able to have those trigger foods in my house. Like February 1st, I bought a jar of Nutella and it's still half full.
Wow.
A month and a half later.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to do that?
So last year I didn't have it in my house. And that was one of my goals for 2023, was to overcome those last few trigger foods. Not necessarily because I missed them. Mm-hmm. I just didn't want them having control over me anymore. I wanted to control food, not food control me.
Okay.
Have you ever wanted to start a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money doing what you love. All in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit episodes right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Now, what's really cool is video podcasts are also now available on Spotify. And if you want to be taken seriously on social media, you need to have a video presence. And what better way to do that by connecting with people via your video episodes? With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's all totally free with no catch whatsoever. And ever since we discovered Spotify for Podcasters here on Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt, we are easily releasing new episodes and distributing them to multiple platforms, and it's never been easier. We highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
And so first I got ice cream. I still haven't gone back to Ben and Jerry's just because I'm not there yet, but I get like fudgesicles and they're 100 calories for one. I know I can have one. It'll be satisfying. It'll be enough for that one day. And I know I've got more for the next day. And that's another thing that I learned from the podcast, you know, that abundance mindset, not restricting. And none of the stuff you guys have ever said has been totally new to me, but I've told people before that maybe my potty mouth self just needed to hear it from other potty mouths.
Somebody who's swearing at you, then it gets delivered.
Yeah.
Just a different way of resonating and connecting with people and delivery. Like we tell people all the time, we're not for everybody.
Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, I can have it all on one day, but then I'm going to go over my calories. I'm going to feel like shit. I'm not going to want to do my workout the next day or that day. Or I can have just that little bit. It's all going to taste the same, whether you eat it today or you eat it the next day. And I can eat it a little bit each day, and then I can see results. And I've had people reach out to me on Instagram that follow me, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're eating Nutella? Yeah, I'm eating Nutella. It's only 100 calories for a tablespoon. And they go, yeah, but how do you stop at just 1 tablespoon? I go, I don't know. I just do. Like right now, my pre-lift snack is I'll do a protein shake. I'll do a Rice Krispie treat, and then I'll top it with a tablespoon of Nutella.
Okay, so you get some nice carbs in there for your workout.
People are like, wow, you're eating that? I go, yeah, and I'm losing weight, baby.
That's right, baby.
Damn right. The proof is in the pudding.
Right.
And then the other thing I've noticed people will message me on is like, I was this way too. They expect their weight to go down every day. And that's the other thing you guys taught me. You know, your weight's not going to go down. Spikes are normal. It's part of the process. Just keep going. And I would have people message me when I would share my calendar where I'm like, yeah, my weight's sticking to it right now, but that just means a whoosh is coming. And they were like, oh, this is when I give up. I don't know how you're still sticking to it. I don't know how you're still weighing in every day. I go, I don't know. It's just become a habit. I weigh in every day. I try not to get too emotional about it. And I just go on with my day. And I do that every morning. And then like 3 days after, someone had sent like a message like, oh my God, that's what I do. And I never see results. And then 3 days later, I dropped 3 pounds. And my weight had stayed about the same for like 10 days. And she's like, what? How did it drop so fast? I go, because I kept going. I didn't change my calories. I kept walking. I kept doing my lifting. And eventually it's going to come down.
And this is where most people are like, I'm in a plateau, right? What do I do? I'm in a plateau. Yeah. It's like 10 fucking
Should
days.
I cut my calories?
And, I don't know. Yeah, they're like freaking out. My weight's been the same for all month. It's like, no, it's been 10 days. That's it.
Question for you about calories, Eric. We don't need to know your specific calories because other people will try to use those for themselves. Oh, yeah. Did you have you made any calorie adjustments over this year plus journey of your own? How have you kind of maneuvered that?
Yeah,
nothing major. So I'm not going to say my range now, but I started at, I want to say I was doing 2,200 to 2,300, which I was like, oh my God, because I went on TDE calculator and I figured it out. And by that time, I was tracking my food. I was walking. My other baby steps was like, I went from no lifting weights to I did 1 workout a week. Then I did 2, then I did 3, then I did 4. And I guess I can out myself as the anonymous question about upper and lower body days that you had months ago. That was me, because I was doing upper body, lower body, then rest, and then upper body, lower body. And I saw everyone else was doing lower body, upper body. And I was just, shit, am I doing something wrong?
No.
But you guys said it was fine.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally.
Did you recalculate with more activity?
So I started at 310. And that's when I was doing the 2,300. And then, I don't know, I just got sick of eating that much food. Like, I just naturally ate less, like not a ton less. I'm still, I'm not very much lower than 2,200.
So your calories are still relatively similar to where you started out, even a year later. And that's kind of where I was going with that, because people like to think that they need to cut their calories right away.
Right. Like you were consistent with the calories that you had. And I think that's what's important is people want to consistently cut their calories or switch their calories like every other month, when really you just need to stay to that same number. And even when you're like, nothing's working, I'm in a plateau, keep the course like you did.
Yeah.
I like how you give yourself the range too.
Yeah. So the range came from Mr. Eric Roberts.
Okay.
The man himself.
Who I found through the podcast. It's funny, everyone I listen to now, I found through the podcast, basically.
Love it.
You guys had on Jordan and Susan. I followed them. You had on Zach the dietitian. I'm now a member of his Patreon.
Nice.
I'm a member of the Cut the Crap Patreon.
Thank you.
I'm in Eric's group coaching, the Clubhouse, which is awesome.
Love it.
Like, all this money I'm spending came from the podcast, but I joke about it because, like, some people have asked me, like, because at first I didn't want to spend any money on it, and that's why I like the podcast, because it was free. Like, you guys offered stuff, but you weren't like, oh, you need to pay for it. You were just giving out free advice. And then I was starting to add up all the money I spent on those 20,000 calorie weekends, and I was spending $150 a weekend just on junk food. And I thought that was no big deal. And I think this is a big one for people too, is they can spend that money on junk food or eating out and it's no big deal. But if you try to tell them to spend that on exercise equipment or a training program or,
invest in themselves
ideas, and oh no, it's this big issue, like, no way, that's too much money.
How did you work through that mindset of your own? Because you kind of called yourself out on that, it sounds like.
Yeah, I just said, why am I spending the money and being okay just to make myself more miserable when I can save that money for things that are going to make me feel better in the long run, that are going to make me get better, make me get stronger, make me get leaner, and who cares? It's just money. Try it out for a month. If I don't like it, I can just cancel. And so I did. Now I'm spending all this money and now I'm like, okay, how much money do I have to save to buy more weights? What do I want?
Strong as fuck.
Yeah, right? That's amazing.
I'm in Colorado, but I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like the nearest gym to me is a 40-minute drive one way.
Wow.
Okay.
And so there's no way I'm going to the gym on a consistent basis. So I got myself an adjustable bench. I got myself some bands. I got the adjustable Bowflex dumbbells.
Amazing.
Recently, I got a squat rack. Now I've got a barbell. I'm saving up for some plates.
You're like, this new lifestyle of mine is to get expensive, but you're not shying away from that. You're investing in yourself, and you don't see it you don't see it as an expense, as a cost. You're literally, like you said, these are things that are making you feel better and live a better life and get closer to your goals. So it's
and
worth
then
it to you.
some people have reached out to me like, oh, but it's so much money. I go, but you're investing in yourself.
Right. But those people probably buy ketones and fucking fat burners and all that shit and list supplements that don't even fucking work.
And then I have friends who like go out drinking all the time and they're like, oh, it's so expensive. I go, but how much are you spending on alcohol a month?
Ouch.
Right.
And they're like, oh, but that's different. That makes me feel better. I go, if you need alcohol to feel better, I think you might have a drinking problem.
Yeah.
And I go, that's above my pay grade, but maybe seek out some help with that, because if you need alcohol to feel good, I think that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of those people don't really talk to me anymore, but
It's funny how your relationships change when you do start taking care of yourself and living a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
You find that those people weren't actually friends of yours. So sometimes, not all the time, but I know when I started my own health and fitness journey over a decade ago and gave up the party lifestyle I was living, everybody I thought was friends. I haven't talked to them since I decided to make that change in my life. So obviously they weren't friends. They were drinking buddies.
Yeah, that's how quite a few of mine were. And the one friend, like, I was like, I can be friends with you, but I'm not drinking anymore because I don't want to. I grew up around a lot of alcoholics and I felt myself going down that path. And I go, no, I need to stop this before it gets bad, because my relationship with food was bad enough. I didn't need to add another toxic relationship on top of that. I don't know. I just spend my money in ways that's going to improve my life.
Mm-hmm.
And the other big mental change for me was, before I would do whatever it took to get skinny. Like, I didn't care how bad it was. I didn't care what I had to eat. I just wanted to get skinny. And now I don't care how long it takes. Like, when people ask me, oh, what's your goal weight? I don't really have an answer to that, because I've never been thinner. Like, I tell them I just want to hit 199, and after that I don't really care how much I weigh. Yes, I have like this idea in my head, like I have 150 in my head, but I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to get to like 160 and be fine with how I look.
Mm-hmm.
I don't base myself on the scale anymore. And that was a huge mental shift for me. I don't
that
care
might scare some people what you're saying right now. Yeah.
And I just want to get strong now. Like, my goal isn't to lose weight. My goal is to need to get more dumbbells because I'm outlifting my adjustable ones. Mm-hmm. Or, I want to be able to lift heavier each week, each month. Sure, weight loss is a nice side effect, but that's basically what it is. It's just a side effect of all these new habits I have. It's not my goal that I'm chasing. My goal is to do whatever it takes to hit 90 years old and be happy and healthy and alive. And I've told people that too before, because I get a lot of questions about like loose skin because I was so heavy. And yeah, I do have a little bit of loose skin. It's not a ton because I'm not losing at a crazy fast pace, and I am lifting weights. And if I get loose skin, I get loose skin. Who cares? I can be 80 years old and live fine with loose skin. It's not going to kill me like excess fat would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think some people let the fact that they may have loose skin stop them.
Yeah.
I
cared for a while, but now it's like, oh, well, if I have loose skin, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I can always have surgery to remove it if I really want to.
Right. And people have been on this podcast themselves after losing a lot of weight, and they've done that. We've had 2 other guests on this podcast that have actually done that. And there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing that I will say has changed is just my mental health is so much better. And I don't know if it's because I'm nicer to myself or because I'm walking and working out and treating myself better, or
probably a collection of all of those things.
Yeah. Or if it's the food, but I don't hate myself anymore. And that's why I used to use food as, my self-harm tool, because I hated myself, but I didn't want to kill myself in a different way. So like food was my self-harm tool to slowly kill myself. I hated myself, and no one's going to tell you to stop eating, or at least in my family, they're not. Like, everyone's overweight pretty much. And so it was just, I was raised by an emotional eater. And so I got the emotional eating, and now I don't emotionally eat. When I have a bad day, I go for a walk, or I lift weights, or I journal. And now, my food, it doesn't control me anymore. I control the food just like I wanted. And all these little tips and tricks I've learned through Cut the Crap.
I love that. You're loving yourself to health right now.
Yeah.
Loving yourself to health instead of hating yourself to health. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
With all of this, what has been your biggest struggle through all of this with implementing these things?
I would say at the beginning, it's just forcing myself to do it. That was the hard part.
Showing
you
up.
mean like you didn't have motivation, right? Kind of thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Making myself do it whether I felt like it or not.
Mm-hmm. Do you hear that, folks?
And I did it because, like I said, I could lay in bed at night and my heart would just race. And so I would tell myself, you can either do this hard thing for 45 minutes a day, or you can have a hard 23 hours and 15 minutes the rest of the day.
Love that.
Yeah.
It can be hard to get out the door for that walk, but it's going to be harder if I don't go for that walk and I keep struggling.
You chose your hard.
Weighing food. Yeah, that might be hard some days. Some days you don't feel like it, but it takes 5 minutes?
Right. And I mean, for the people out there, they're like, it just takes so much time to weigh my food. I mean, is that realistic to say something like that?
Right. And so what I would do when I weigh my food, even to this day, like I put whatever plate or bowl or whatever I'm going to use, I put it on the scale, I tear it out, and then I put in my ingredient. I don't always have my phone with me, so I have like a little whiteboard where I write down how many grams each one is.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll tear it out again and I'll add the next ingredient. In the morning when I make my oatmeal, I grab my little bowl for my oatmeal. I put it on. Now, I've been eating oatmeal for breakfast like 6 days a week at least since
my go-to as well.
You know what? I think it's important. I think it's really helps to have like a favorite that you eat all the time. Because you know what's in it. You know, there's always that staples. The people that actually have the most success are the people that are really like repetitive with a lot of things that they do in that aspect, I should say.
And now I can pretty much eyeball it to know, oh, yep, there's my 64 grams of oats.
Yeah.
If I'm having a frozen fruit, I'll add the frozen fruit, weigh that out, and then I'll add water. I'll have it in the microwave for 2-3 minutes while I'm getting out my chia seeds and my PB Fit and my whey protein. And then I do the same thing. I put the bowl back on the scale and I just add each ingredient, stir it up, add the next ingredient, stir it up, add the next ingredient, stir it up.
So what you're doing is you're making this easier for yourself because you're as you're going, you're tracking and logging and just doing one step at a time. And I know a lot of people's clients especially struggle with this, is trying to track it after the fact. And that's where a lot of people struggle. They just try to track it after the fact. But if you're tracking it while you're doing it, it makes it a lot easier. And it's just 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there, rather than 5 to 10 minutes. What did I eat? How much of it did I?
And then you leave shit out. You forget.
Did I estimate this correctly?
And if you're pouring it anyway, you might as well pour it on the scale. That way it eliminates that step.
Yep.
And then I eat it. And while I'm eating it, I'll enter it into my actual app. And then, the same thing with my lunch. I usually have a big ass salad for lunch. Mm-hmm. So I weigh out my lettuce, and then I weigh out my veggie, and then I weigh out my other veggie. And, I usually have like 5 or 6 veggies in my salad. And then I weigh out whatever protein I'm having, because on Sundays, I either meal prep or I ingredient prep.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what does your prepping situation look like? And did you try to maybe like work out like what would work best for you in that aspect, like in the planning? Like what works best for you for that?
So I started after Zach was on his episode of the podcast is when I followed him. And so I would do some of his meal preps. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, I don't feel like meal prepping every weekend. And then that's when I saw you, Beth. You would post about your ingredient preps. I was like, oh, well, I can do that. That's easy. I'll take the same amount of time and just prep ingredients instead of whole ass meals.
Right.
And so, I would get my salad stuff and I would rinse it off, and then I would put it in a bowl. And like, I have all these Tupperware containers, and then I've got 3 instant pots.
Nice.
Get out.
Each dedicated to something, I'm assuming.
So I'll put like my eggs in one, and then I'll put my rice in one, and then I'll put I usually do ground turkey just because it's a little lower calorie than ground beef.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then I'll do those 3. And then in my crock pot, I'll do like chicken breast or chicken tenderloin. And then they're all done. And I just throw them in packages and stick them in the fridge. And so my veggies are chopped, my fruit's chopped. Yes, I wash them.
Before the questions come.
Oh my God, that's
I
too
think
funny.
of Beth every time I eat blueberries.
Yep. Can't believe you didn't wash your blueberries.
Oh my God.
When Beth and I were together last week, we were poking fun at each other.
It's like so funny that people are worried about what we're eating on the other side of the camera. Like, fucking wash your own blueberries. I don't care.
Yeah.
Some weeks I'll do that and I'll have them in that way. To track those, I'll weigh like my rice. The rice I usually do a cup of rice with a cup of chicken broth, and then I'll put some of the powdered chicken tomato bouillon powder in it. And so I weigh those out and I'll add it to, because I use Lose It, not MyFitnessPal, just because I like the interface
so much
better.
Yeah, I like it too. I just switched.
Yeah, I used to use MyFitnessPal, and I don't know what it is about Lose It. Like, I know a lot of people switch because of the barcode scanner, but I don't even really use it. I just like how it looks better.
Lose It, you can find all different kinds of stuff in there. Like, you can actually see like the fiber and the protein, and that gives you all like the breakdown.
And you do still have to watch out, because once I was entering mini bell peppers and it tried to tell me I was doing like 60 grams of mini bell peppers, and it tried to tell me that it had like 93 grams of protein.
Was it a crowdsourced
Probably
entry?
yeah.
Probably somebody from the database. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I'm not using you as the entry.
Right.
Because I know that there's not that much protein in that amount of chicken, let alone a vegetable.
Right.
Yeah, totally. You'd have to eat a lot of that vegetable to get 93 grams of protein.
Yeah.
And so what I'll do is I'll weigh it out before I cook it, and then I'll weigh it again after I cook it. And when you enter the recipe, you can just enter the total grams. And so like for rice, that's what I'll do is I'll weigh the total grams that it's weighed after it's done cooking. And that way, when I weigh it each day, I don't have to hit a certain amount of the rice. I can just say how many grams it was, and it's going to be as close to as accurate as possible. So like, say before I cook it, let me pull it up. Before I cook it, it'll be like 300 grams or something. It's not, but just as an example. And then after I cook it, it's like 150 or whatever. And so I'll put the total recipe is 150 grams. And then when I'm doing it, if I use, 70 grams of it, I'll say 70. And that way it's as accurate as possible. Like, I'm sure it's still a little off, but I don't know. I don't really care about perfection as long as it's
right. You shouldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, you shouldn't be worrying about those fucking minor details at all.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to say, Erica, is you have been so consistent with everything that you've been doing. I think every Friday, like when I wake up, I've already got you tagging us in your story because you're listening to the new podcast.
You're on your walk.
And that's what caught my attention. It's like, holy shit, she's doing this the same time every Friday. She's showing up. And it got to the point where I think if you missed one or two, we're like, what the fuck? Where's Erica? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Because you're that consistent and you're showing up for yourself.
I've actually had people like reach out to me because they see me tagging you. And like some of them have been haters. They're like, oh, you're just doing it for attention. I go, no, I'm doing it. That's what I'm doing.
Fuck that person.
Don't be that person, you guys. Please
get their attention. Like,
right.
If they see it, cool. If they don't, I'm not going to cry about it.
This is what we're here for. This is why we're doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
So we can help people like you who actually took the fucking information, applied it, and actually got results from it. This is why we're doing what we're doing every single fucking day. Because we want to help people.
Yeah, that person saying that you're doing it for attention is the person that's not doing these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that person.
Go fuck yourself, motherfucker.
I'm nice about it, but now I don't know. I get people ask me the same questions over and over again, and I think of you guys, and I'm like, God, they must have the patience of a saint or something because this is annoying to me, and they do this for a living. Like,
if you've seen any of our TikTok lives recently, we're annoyed with it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that registered dietitian I sent you both messages about the other day, who was trying to compare artificial sweeteners to
the drugs,
to crack or whatever it was. Yeah. Fucking dumbass.
If I had found that like 2 years ago, that would have been a totally different story. I would have been going through my pantry, throwing out every single thing.
And that's why that type of messaging is so friggin' harmful. Yeah, and dangerous.
Right. Yep. There's a lot of bullshit out there. And it's bad enough just in the regular fitness and health space. But you add the fact that I have PCOS on top of it, that just adds a whole nother layer of bullshit and misinformation.
Right.
I've seen so many people tell me, oh, you'll only lose weight if you go keto, or you have to cut out dairy, or you have to cut out carbs, or you have to cut out sugar altogether. And I eat dairy every day. I eat carbs every day. I eat gluten every day. Every day this week, I've had a sandwich for lunch.
Everything diets tell you can't eat.
Right. This is super important for people to understand, is that the internet makes you feel like because you have something like PCOS or hypothyroidism that you're absolutely fucked and you can't lose weight and you must do something fucking extreme, which is absolute trash advice. And this, literally makes people feel like they're fucking helpless. And here you are that actually has PCOS. You are doing the thing and getting the results because you're being fucking consistent. And I think it's important for people to understand that.
The doctor that diagnosed me with PCOS, and when I was 310, he was like, oh, you're a lost cause. You're always going to be obese because of your PCOS. And now I kind of want to just go schedule an appointment with him, just
right?
middle finger.
My petty ass would do that.
Right.
I would, but he's in Phoenix, so
Yeah. So maybe does he do video consultations?
I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding.
I used to work for the doctors that used to work with him, because I used to work for a group of anesthesiologists doing the medical billing, and they work with him a lot. So maybe if I sent one of them a message, show him this picture of me.
Right.
Lost cause,
Yeah,
right?
even a doctor told me that I was a lost cause and that
That's not
I would
good.
always be overweight. And all he did was he was like, sorry, but if you ever want to have a baby, come back and I'll help you. And I hear that so often in the PCOS community, is like, they either tell you to just eat less, move more, or, oh, come back and see me when you want to have a baby, which great for people that want kids, but I don't want kids. So what am I, just shit out of luck? That's the other thing I hear a lot from certain family members. They've said, oh, well, you don't want kids. Why are you losing weight? To live longer, to be happier and healthier.
It's a wild thought that we don't revolve around having kids anymore for some people.
Right. I even had one of my aunts get mad at me because I forget what it was, but I posted something on Facebook like, if you want kids, great, but don't try forcing me to have kids. Like something along those lines. Like, I don't hate kids. I just don't want any of my own. Like, I spoil the shit out of my best friend's kids. I'm a great auntie, but I would be a terrible mother because I just don't have the patience. I just know myself well enough. I would not be a good mom. And they take it as a personal, like I'm insulting them. All I'm saying is let me live my life and you live your life. And those same people, again, they're like that with weight loss too. So like I lost some friends because they were like, oh, well, you're losing weight and you look better than me now. Or I had one friend who was like, oh, well, I can't hang out with you anymore because you already got more guy attention than me. And now you're not fat anymore. So you're going to get it even more. And it's like, well, gee, thanks for showing me that you're not my friend.
Right.
And it's crazy the amount of people who support you only when it benefits them.
Yeah.
Or they support you when you're not really making positive moves in your life.
Right. I wasn't ever telling them to lose weight. I'm a very live and let live person. Like I have my goals and my aspirations, and you don't have to agree with them. I don't have to agree with yours, but I'm going to support you. And I mean, unless you're wanting to like commit murder or something, but
yeah, don't do that. We don't support you in that.
Why? It's just been a very life-changing few years, and it's crazy because I'm only getting started. I'm going to keep making these changes. I'm going to keep progressing. I'm going to keep up with these habit changes. And, you know, it was hard in the beginning to make these changes. And it was hard to keep doing it day after day, even if I didn't feel like it. But now it's a habit. I just do it. I don't think about it. I just do it. It's who I am now. Like my day starts, I get up, I go to the bathroom, I weigh in, whether I feel like it or not. I just weigh in because that's just what I do. I get dressed, put on my shoes, load up a podcast, and get out the door. And I do my walk. And then I come home, I have my breakfast, I have my oatmeal. And on days I don't have my oatmeal, I feel bad that I didn't have my oatmeal because after breakfast, I'm craving the oatmeal. And so I usually then have my oatmeal for my snack before my workout. And then I'll work. I'll have my first 15-minute break. I go on a walk on my 15-minute break. Then I have lunch. Then I work more. And then I have my second break in the day because I work from home. And I go on a walk on my second break. And then I get off work. Towards my last break is when I'll have my pre-workout snack of carbs and protein, because it's been drilled into my head now, carbs and protein. Fuel your workout. Between the two of you and Eric, you guys are always in my head. And then I'll go in, because I have a 3-bedroom. So one of my bedrooms is my bedroom. Then I have my office in here. And then I have my home gym. And so I'll go in the home gym. I'll do my 45-minute to 60-minute workout Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Then I'll have dinner. Then I'll go for my walk. And then it's time to wind down for bed.
That's the routine.
That's just what I do. And then on Wednesdays and weekends, I don't lift. Sometimes I'll do like a kickboxing video class, or like I'll do Pilates or something. But honestly, those don't happen that often because it's not a priority. It's just if I have extra energy, might as well do something with the energy. So I'll do some kickboxing. Or if I'm extra angry after a bad week at work, or I'm extra angry at someone in my life, I don't want to yell at them, so I'll kickbox instead and get my anger out then.
Love it. Love it. You're doing things you enjoy.
It's nothing like exciting. It's no like secret weapon. There is no secret weapon. You just gotta do it. If there was some secret magic cure for obesity, someone would have made a profit from it by now. But yeah, that's just what I do every Friday. It's Cut the Crap podcast in the morning.
Well, Erica, we are incredibly proud of you and happy for you. And we are honored that you have made us part of your life and that we're able to help you like this.
It makes me super happy.
Yes, we're very happy. We are very happy.
And I'd actually love to get you on the podcast next year to see where you are from like a year from now, because
please do that.
You guys, this is like, you're building a lifestyle that you can stick to, and this doesn't fucking take overnight. And Erica is like a pure example of like consistency, and you know how this is for life, not like just for a fucking moment in time.
Consistency, right. Not perfection.
Yes, exactly. You got it.
You got this, Erica.
Well, thank you so much, Erica. And you know, where can everyone find you if they want to follow you and see your continuous journey?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Erratically Erica. I'm probably going to be the most boring account you can follow, but I'm there if you want to follow.
Boring is good when it comes to this.
Right.
Yeah, I saw when Matt followed me, I was like, oh, that's nice. Oh man, he's going to get bored because I eat the same things every day, but that's consistency for you.
Exactly. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Super grateful.
Yes. Thank you again, Erica. We're excited to hear your journey.
Thank you so much for sharing, and keep fucking crushing it.
Keep fucking crushing it.
Yay!
Hope you enjoyed this episode, so why not share with a friend who needs to hear it? Send us a DM on Instagram or email us at cutthecrappod@gmail.com and join our Patreon at patreon.com/cutthecrappodcast. As always, we appreciate you and thanks for being here.